So, welcome back again. Don't forget we are talking about Esther. So, this is the story of Esther. Thank you so much for joining, Lily. Hi, Tulsi. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thank you. You look so amazing today. Mm, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Um, so back to the story. Don't forget we're talking about the story of the girl that was born for the worst moment in his people's history. There's no other person than this than Esther. So we will talk about the episode one, how they went to provinces to gather thousands of young girls and they brought them to the palace. The eunuchs treat them, gave them cosmetics, food, and specially gave Esther seven maiden servants without her requesting for them. So she was highly favored. And don't forget, they were treated and they were taught in the way of palace royalty for 12 good months. So they were taught in the way of royalty for 12 good months. And it got to the time that they have to enter the king's court and one by one. So it was Esther's turn, and the kings like Esther. So she received favor from the eyes of the king. So she was made the new queen of Persia. So, and everyone would just think that for an orphan girl to be the king, the queen, the new queen, that was an opportunity, that was a great privilege. And people would begin to think that the life has become easier. Things we started going smoothly as planned, but not until one day when our cousin Mordecai, who was the gatekeeper at the king's gate, you know, let me recap some other things that Mordecai was sat at the king's gate every day just to make sure he watched over Esther, and he has warned Esther not to talk about her background. He warned her not to make mention that she's a Jewish or she's a Jew. So and when Mordecai found out about the plot against King Ahasuerus, and he told Esther, and Esther told the king, and that was how we ended the first episode. So let's move to the next episode. So, Esther is now a queen. She's in a queen era. She's enjoying the palace, and she has settled into her new life as a queen. So she kept her promise to Mordecai. She never told anyone she was Jewish. So Mordecai sat at the king's gate every day just to make sure she was safe. Soon after, two of the king's eunuchs became hungry and plotted to assassinate King Ahasuerus. So Mordecai overheard the plot and he sent word secretly to Esther. She told the king, giving Mordecai the credit. That Mordecai told me those two eunuchs are planning plot against you. So the men were caught and they were hanged. So the event was written down in the official history book. And then for a while, everyone forgot about it. Everyone forgot about it. Someone saved the king's life and everyone forgot about it. Just like that. And that is how this life is. People forget how you helped them. People forget things you did for them. And what they will always remember is how you did not help them. The next thing you do, they will remember that one. But what you did for them, they will not remember. And that is one of the things we experience as Christians. We should keep going. We should not let that one weigh us down. So back to the story. So, but in the shadows, another man was rising, a man named Haman. So this name will sound familiar to you. The story of Haman, Mordecai, Esther. So there was a man named Haman. So the king promoted Haman above all the others princes. He made him the second most powerful man in the entire kingdom. So everyone at the king's gate was commanded to bow down and pay homage to Haman. That is Haman. So everyone except Mordecai. So Mordecai was exempted. So everyone was warned, everyone was commanded to bow down. The same respect they can give the king, they should give to Haman. So, but except Mordecai. So every single day, Haman walked past the gate every single day. Mordecai will just sat straight and would not bow. So he would not also kneel. When Haman's servant asked him why, Mordecai said simply, when Haman's servant asked him, why don't you bow for Haman? So Mordecai just said simply, I am a Jew. So Haman was enraged, he was furious, humiliated by the action of, Mordecai. So, but killing just one old man was not enough for him. So he wanted to destroy every single Jew in the entire empire. Every man, every woman, every child, just to make himself feel powerful. You understand? It is one person that offended you. Why don't you deal with the person directly? Thank you so much, Shoban. I'm sorry if I didn't if I didn't pronounce the name very well. And thank you, Andre. So yes, I'm telling the story of Esther in the Bible today. My name is Esther, so I just feel like it's okay for me to just tell you people about. People will just keep asking Esther, Esther, Esther. You were born on Easter date, so you celebrate. It's because of Easter. That is why you were born doing that. And I'm not born during Easter period. I'm July 4th girl. I'm July 4th girl. So American in the chat, say hi. I am your independent baby. So I'm July 4th baby. So I'm just trying to tell the story of Esther and just to resonate with other believers out there, just to charge our faith, just to boost our confidence again. It doesn't matter the background we came from, something good can still come out of us. So sorry for the interruption. So the network here is very bad. So I have to leave. I left where I was earlier so that I can see good quality. Okay, so where are we? I'm trying to get to where we are for the this thing, for the reading. Okay, but let me start from where a Haman was introduced. So, but it was in the shadow. Another man was rising, a man named Haman. The king promoted Haman above all other princes. He made him the second most powerful man in the entire kingdom. So everyone at King's Gate was commanded to bow down and pay homage to Haman, except one person, which is Mordecai. So every single day, Haman walked past the gate. Every single day, Mordecai sat straight. You understand? Mordecai sat straight. He would not bow and he would not kneel. So when Haman's servants asked Mordecai, why don't you bow for my master? Mordecai said one thing, which is simply, I am a Jew. So when Mordecai said he was a Jew, Haman was enraged, furious, humiliated. But killing just one person wasn't enough for him. So he wanted to destroy every single Jew in the entire empire. So every man, every woman, every child, just to make himself feel powerful. So Haman cast lots, called Paul, to find the perfect day to carry out the massacre. So the lot fell on the 13th day of the 12 months, almost a year away. So he has been planning the plot for a year. So he wants to execute, he wants to plan something, he wants to do some massacre, and he has started planning now, which is the 13th day of the 12th month. So and they are still in January, assuming just like we have 12 months now, January, February, March to December. And this man has been planning how he's going to execute the Jews, how he's going to do his massacre for 12 good months. So that's how we know that we are in the world that people really find their time, they really take their time to hurt you. You might just be talking to them normally, you might be friends, and they'll be planning something towards you. You understand? They'll be planning something like you don't even know. 12 good months, this man carry out this plan just to make sure he destroy the entire empire, entire Jews in the empire. That's a lot. That's how far some enemies can go. That's how far some enemies can go. That's how far some enemies can go. May the Lord keep protecting us. So he has to plan for almost a year away. So Haman went to the king and he lied. So this is what Haman said to the king. So this is what Haman said to the king, that there is a certain people scattered and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom, my lord. Their laws are different from all other people's, and they do not keep the king's law. Say God. See this big lie. See this big lie that someone really came to tell the king. Let me read again. Haman said to the king, my lord, there is a certain people scattered and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom, and their laws are different from all other people's laws, and they do not keep the king's law. So when we hear this one now, we don't want to, don't want to do something nasty to the person. So therefore, it is not fitting for the king to let them remain. If it pleases the king, let a decree be written that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those who do the work to bring it into the king's treasures. Someone wants to pay 10,000 worth of money, God, just to destroy that person. So the 10,000 talents of silver then is equivalent to roughly $250 million in today's money. Someone want to pay roughly $250 million just to scrap some people, some tribes, because of one person. So the king did not even ask which people. He simply took his signet ring off his hand and gave it to Haman and said, the silver is given to you, the people also, to do with them as seems good to you. Without investigating. The king did not investigate on who are these people, what are they, is this really true? Because Haman was the second in command, was the king's right hand. So the king will not even question his authority or something like that. So the king just removed his signet ring as a stamp. We all know that these people, how they're powerful is from their ring. So their ring is like a stamp for them. So once you stamp that decree, and he gave it to Haman, even write anything you want to do, just stamp it, I approve it. just like that. And I pray to you today, wherever people have manipulated you, wherever they have manipulated me in the eyes of the people that are meant to help us, to do us favor, may the Lord intervene in the name of Jesus. Because see what Aman did right here. You just went to the king and say something that they were not even true at all. May the Lord help us. So let's continue. So the decree was written in every language of the empire, sealed with the king's ring, sent by swift horsemen to every single province. Don't forget we have 127 provinces that this king reigned over. So that means this decree was sent to those 127 provinces. The energy you found in your province, energies you found in your province, hide them, hide them, hide them, hide them, unalive them, unalive them. So that is the decree. But you know, they're going to wait till on the 13th month. So let me continue so that you can understand. So on the 13th day of the 12th month, all Jews, young and old, women and children, were to be unalived, destroyed, annihilated in one day, and all their properties was to be plundered. So in the decree it was written that on this day, 13th day of the 12th month, this is what you're going to do to the Jew in every of your provinces. So the city of Shushan was thrown into confusion and mourning. People were mourning, you know. Where did they want to go to? But the king and Haman sat down and drink wine and celebrate. So they drink wine and celebrate why they want to destroy the Jew in all the provinces. So Haman manipulated the king to do that. So when Mordecai heard the decree, he tore his clothes, he put on sackcloth and ashes. That is a sign of mourning in those days, in the ancient Romance days. So they will tear their clothes and put on ashes all over their body. So with that, anybody that see them will know they are mourning. So he walked through the city crying out with a loud and bitter cry. So he stopped right in front of the king's gate and wailing. He was crying, he was wailing. Jews in every province began to fast, they began to weep, they began to mourn. Many lay in sackcloth and ashes, and this word finally reached Queen Esther inside the palace. She was terrified. She sent clothes to Mordecai to take off the sackcloth. You know, Mordecai has tear his clothes and put on sackcloth just for a sign of mourning. And Queen Esther, being her cousin, sent a new pair of clothes to him to put on in order to remove the sackcloth. But what did Mordecai did? He refused. So then sent for Hathach. Hathach is one of the king's eunuchs assigned to attend to Esther. So she gave him a message. Go find out what this is and why it is happening. So that is an investigation. Queen Esther called Hathach. Hathach is one of the king's guards that was assigned to Queen Esther. So it was sent to go find out what is really happening. Why are my people mourning? Why are the Jews mourning? Why are they putting on sackcloth and ashes? Something all over, many things like that. So she really need to know what is really going on. So Hathach went to Mordecai, and Mordecai told him everything. He gave him a copy of the written decree, and he gave Hathach a message to bring back to Esther. So go tell Esther, do not think in your heart that you will escape in king's house any more than all of other Jews. Because you are a queen doesn't mean you are safe. So they said the riches also cry. And this is a sign of the riches also cry. This is the decree to all Jews. And don't forget, you didn't tell anyone in that palace that you are a Jew. So nobody knows. Don't think that because you're now a queen, you have escaped this thing. Whatever decree that was sent to all the Jews in all the provinces will automatically affect you. So because you're a queen doesn't mean that this thing is not going to affect you. So that is what Mordecai sent to Esther in the palace. So for if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. Yet, who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So that is why I titled this story The Girl Who Was Burned for the Worst Time in Her People History. So who knows, you are born or you have been there, you are a queen for such a time as this. So that was what Mordecai sent to Esther. So let's see what Esther do. So Esther read the words. Her whole life flashed before her eyes. You understand? The orphan, the beauty contest, the crown, the favor, all of it, every single step had led to this exact moment. So she sent a reply back to Mordecai. It was not a yes, not yet. It was a command. So this is what Esther sent to Mordecai. Go gather all the Jews who are present in Shushan and fast for me. Neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day. Don't eat, don't drink for 3 days. Fast for 3 days for me. They are not even fasting for the decree again. Esther said they should fast for her for 3 days because she wants to take a bold step. And she continued, my maids and I will fast likewise, and so I will go to the king, whether it's against the law, and if I perish, I perish. That was what Esther said, saying to Mordecai. If I perish, I perish. I will go to the king, because you cannot enter the king's courts uninvited. Doesn't mean if you're a queen or not. If the king did not invite you, you don't dare to enter there. So 6 words, the bravest sentence ever spoken by a woman in the Bible. If I perish, I perish. She knew the law. Anyone who appeared before the king in the inner court without being called, the law said they must be put to death. So the only exception was if the king held out the golden scepter to them and she had not been called for 30 whole days. It's as bad as that. Esther has not been called into the king's court for 30 whole days, and time is ticking. Time is ticking. She waited for 30 days, nothing is happening. The king did not call her. Don't forget, the king doesn't know she's a Jew. So it's not because the king knows she's a Jew, that's why she intentionally did not call her. But he was just not calling her. But she was ready to die to save her people. So for 3 days and 3 nights, no food, no water, just prayer, just tears, just faith. And on the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes. She stood in the inner court of the king's palace, across from the king's house. She took a deep breath and she stepped forward. King Ahasuerus was sitting in a royal throne. He looked up, and there, standing in the court, was his queen. She had not been summoned. Don't forget that. The law was clear. The guards' hands moved to their swords. And then the king did the unthinkable. He held out the golden scepter that was in his hand. Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. She was alive. she was accepted. This is what King Azara said. What do you wish, Queen Esther? What is your request? It shall be given to you. Up to half of my kingdom. King said, whatever she wishes will be given to her, even if she requested half of his kingdom. If Esther requested half of the king's kingdom, it shall be given to her. This is a great favor. Don't forget, she fasted for 3 days and she called on other Jewish to pray and fast for her for 3 days. They should not eat, they should not drink. That is the power of prayer. And if you have a community that stand for us, that pray for us, it will also go a long way. Who knows, if it was only Esther that fasted alone, maybe something different would have happened. But because of the prayers and the intersection of this thing, is it, yeah, intersection of the anointed, she went into the king's court and she was being told to ask for whatever she wants to ask for. So Esther had the legal right to ask for half of the empire, you understand, right then and there, but she could have demanded Haman's head instantly. Abi now, she could have demanded Haman's head instantly, but she did something brilliant. You know, Esther are always brilliant. She said, if it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet that I have prepared for him. The king sent immediately for Haman. Hurry, he said. Esther has prepared a feast for us. Haman came elated, proud. It was the only girls beside the king invited to the queen's private banquet. He went home that night bragging to his wife and friends about his riches, his sons, his promotion, and how even the queen had honored him above everyone else. The queen invited me to a banquet. Oh my God, it's only me and the king that will be in that banquet. All those things. My sons are the most powerful one after me. You know, all those people that they used to proud. So the Bible described it that he went about his friends and was stating his promotion, that he obtained favor from the queen or something, a whole lot of things like that. So but then he walked past King's Gate, and there sat Mordecai, still not bowing, still not moving. Yes. And Haman's rage boiled over again. His wife Zeresh and his friend gave him evil advice. Make a gallows 75 feet high. In the morning, ask the king to have Mordecai hanged on it. Then go merrily with the king to the banquet. Haman loved the idea. He had a massive gallows built that very night. He could not wait to see the old man swinging from it. That is Mordecai. So, but that same night, God did something small and huge. The king could not sleep. So, he ordered the official history books, the chronicles, to be read to him. You know, anything that happens to the king, history book, maybe someone do something great to the king, or something tangible happen in the kingdom, it is going to be written down in the history book. So it is going to be written down in the history book, and that was what happened when this Mordecai saved the king. When Mordecai saved the king, that was what happened, and it was in the history book. And The king has requested for this history book now. So let's see what happened. So he requested they read the chronicles to him, and the reader turned the page right to the story of how Mordecai had uncovered the plot to attack, to unalive the king. So what honor or dignity has been bestowed on Mordecai for this? That was what the king asked. Someone saved my life. So what honor has been given to this person? Or did you just overlook it like that? So the servant answered, nothing has been done for him. So at that exact moment, Aman walked in. You know why King was having conversation with the servant there? What have you done to this person that saved my life? So that was the moment that Aman walked in. So Aman walked in into the outer court. He had come early to ask the king to hang Mordecai. So the king saw him. Who is that in the court? It is Haman standing in the court. So let him in, let him in, let him in, because the king really needs someone to advise him on what to do at that time. So Haman entered, bowing low before he could even open his mouth to make his request. The king asked him a question that would change everything. What shall be done for a man who the kings delight to honor? What shall be done to a man who the king delights to honor? So Haman's heart leaped. Probably he was thinking, is the one in question? You understand, feeling entitled. Surely you thought the king is talking about me. Yeah, like I said. So Haman answered the king with all the pride in his heart. For the man who kings delight to honor, let a royal robe be brought, which the king has worn. The royal robe that the king has worn before, let it be brought. And a horse on which the king has ridden, which has a royal crest placed in its head. Oh God. Then let the robe and the horse be delivered to the hand of the one, the king, most noble princess. So this is what Haman was trying to say. The robes that the king has worn before, royal robes, let it be given to the person that he should wear it. And the horse that the king has ridden before, which has a royal crest on his head. So let the robe and the horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes. So this thing, the robes, the horse, will be given to one of the best noble prince in the empire to hand it over to the man to go and deliver it to the man that the kings delight to honor. So this is it. Let them array the man whom the king delights to honor. Let him ride on horseback in the city square and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man who the kings delight to honor. Thus shall it be done to the man who the kings delight to honor. Thus shall it be done to the man who the kings delight to honor. Hey God, this is incredible. So the kings looked at him, smiled, and said, hurry, take the robe and the horse, just as you have said, and do so to Mordecai, God, the Jew who sits within the king's gate. Leave nothing undone of all that you have spoken. Let's get it right. The king said, everything that you have spoken is very good. He smiled. Yeah, hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, now. Oh, yeah, go inside. Take the robe, take the horse, and go and give it to Mordecai. And everything that you have spoken, everything must be fulfilled. You must be taken to the city square and ride on the horse and be shouting, this is the man the king's delights to honor. This is the man the king's delight to honor, and that is Mordecai. the man he had plotted to hang, which he came to the palace to request. Hey, God is great. God is great though. So the word stopped for Haman. He had to take the very robe he wanted for himself, the very horse he wanted for ride, and he had to lead Mordecai. The man he planned to hang at sunrise through the street of Shushan, shouting, "Thus shall it be done to the man who the kings delight to honor." So what happened next after that is going to be on our next episode. Did the Haman take the robes? Did he take the hearts? Did he hang Mordecai instead, or did he proclaim to Haman in the city square on the horse with the robes that this is the man who the kings delight to honor? We're going to find out on our next episode of the story of Esther. Don't forget it is part 2. If you have not watched part 1, go on my channel to watch part 1 so that you can follow the story. Go on my channel to watch part 1, and this is part 2. Part 3 will drop soon. Stay tuned. What happened to Mordecai? What happened to Haman? Or what happened to Esther after the banquet? Did the king attend the banquet? Did Haman attend the banquet? You will find out in the next chapter, in the next episode. Thank you so much. My name remains Esther, but you can call me Adaza. Maybe I'm a Jew. I'm so glad we're talking about my story today. And what about you? Don't forget to drop comments on things you think we should improve. And if you want to join our community, click on the notification bell and sign up for subscription. Subscribe to our community so that we can build a faith based community together. We are Christians community, global Christian communities. We inspire each other, we motivate each other, we pray for each other. So go to the channel and subscribe if you want to be part of us. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't be part of us on here. Just click on our subscription on the subscribe button here, and the notification bell, so that anytime we put on videos, anytime we put on content like this, you get to see them first. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to read the part 3 of the story with you guys. Love you so much. Bye. It's praise time. Sing with Hadassah.